Hi, Teresa. That's great. And I guess you're using team colors there in all those hearts, hey? Um, this, well, it's awesome that you're here. I know you're a busy girl. I, of course, have no idea if anyone is going to show up besides you and me. So I appreciate you being here. Um, so have you cleaned up from the Super Bowl party and restored your house to some sort of order? I'm going to just run through some of what I intend to do here today. And maybe I should do a little pre-sorting until I see that we've got a few more people here. And who knows, maybe it'll be you and me, kid. So what I am doing here is pre-selecting some stencils that I want to be able to consider as I work on this grid thingamajig. Oh, that's a good one. I can't deny baby snuggles. Yeah, that's a great place to be in life when you've got, aren't those really some of the best times? Maybe even more so as a grandmother than a mother, because there's all those other pressures. But the whole idea of just, lying down on a chair or a bed and having a baby on your abdomen and bonding and oh, hi, Susie. Glad to have you here. I was saying that I'm just sort of pre-selecting some stencils that are possibilities that I want to use today. It's probably looking like I'm choosing everything, but no, not quite. So, Susie, are you a big football fan too? Were you glued to the tube on for the Super Bowl? Oops. So what I'm looking for are stencils that are sort of a possible right shape and right proportions for this thing that I intend to work on. Well, that could be good. Oh dear. I'm so grateful to you, well, to both of you, but also to Teresa for the extra effort that it takes to be a moderator, and you're juggling your real life in the background, whether that's a husband, a grandkid, mealtime. And I always like this one. So what I oh, Susie, I was just saying that I'm always grateful whenever you're here, because you're so appreciative. You're so loyal. and you contribute. So those are all quantities or qualities that a person enjoys. Okay. Oh, and I didn't go through these Ranger ones. So let me just get to this. And of course, if people do join in, I can repeat myself or I can just enjoy your company. Okay, so lately I've had grids on my mind, in part because I've seen some other channels and some other artists talk about it and refer to it. So this is a very simplistic one that I did as part of Kelly from Collage. Oh, hi, Jonna. That I did as a through one of Kelly from Collage Labs free workshop called 6 Collages in 60 Minutes. So if you, now I worked bigger than she recommended, which was probably a mistake, was a mistake on my part, because I found that 10 minutes to do some of these projects was not enough. Anyway, this is how simple it can be. This is a 6x6. I also, like probably many of you, have thrifted photo albums. And, you know, sometimes it can be a challenge to use this black paper. And yet it is such a beautiful resource because, well, it's heavy duty and it's so dramatic being black. So what I did was I had cut a piece. Well, I cut several pieces, and this was one that I worked on. So I'll just tell you what's here. These are the little thumbnails that appear on the back of a calendar, and they're tiny little reproductions of some rural scenes, rural kids, you know, just really cute little images. The checkerboard and the red bits here also came off a different calendar. This was a giant one with cooking and chef images as its theme. So you've probably seen calendars like that. The red and the checkerboard seem to just go together perfectly. So I used those pieces. And then the, well, this sort of waste product from a coil bound calendar, because the colors worked perfectly, I used that there. Now, the this little, it's not exactly a grommet or an eyelet like we use, but it was the way that that calendar would have been hung. So I wanted that, like I considered a couple of other things. I don't think that is as good because that color is not as good. This button I don't think was as good a focal point. So I used that, but I am sort of thinking that, you know, if I could find, but I can't so far, if I could find either my metal gears or my plastic metal looking buttons. No, let me say that again. My buttons that look like gears but are plastic. Yes, I've been planning a craft room tour since the beginning because I know how much I love looking at other people's spaces. But honestly, I can never get it all together so that, I don't know. It's driving me insane. But yes, that is always at the back of my mind. If I could ever get it all together at the same time, I would be doing it. Okay, so when I get an idea that I like, I, of course, get carried away with it. This is a Strathmore, Strathmore mixed media, what do we call these? Sketchbooks, 9 by 12, 117 pounds. So One of the things that I learned in Kelly's free class called G is for Grid is that grids make a perfect base for a collage, or a perfect foundation. So, of course, I always have stuff around me, and I thought, well, why would I stop at one grid? And this was just magazine papers. And of course, it's a bit of a faux pas that I don't have anything in this corner, but I'm not going to worry about it because this is playing. These are squares from a wine calendar. And of course, the thing that ties them together is the fact that the colors all coordinate with each other. Oh, hi, Sandra. Mostly lurking. Get ready to head out. Oh, gotta love a lurker. Then, because these pages are rather big, I kind of divided the page in half, and I did this one and this one. Now, there isn't much variation in this red, orange, yellow one. And you can see that in this one, I think it'll be probably the most challenging to work on because I've left so much white space in between. I think I would have been better bringing it all together and, having it more cohesive in that way. But let me just show you some of the other stuff that I have cut up. Oh, no, these aren't them. Sorry, I have a number of circles. Like who among us hasn't punched out a bunch of circles? I have some black and white stuff, which would work. And they don't have to be regular sizes. So they don't have to be all, inchies or twinchies. They don't have to all be circles. They can be things like this as well. So those are all basically squares, or probably they're all rectangles. Here are more of those orange ones. These are magazine spreads, I think. So that could equally be used. These are objects, so they don't even have to be the same size. So this all came out of one illustration, but you can see they're household products, and some of them are as tiny as a toothpaste tube or a can of Pam, and then others I left bigger. So, one day I hope to use this as well. So basically, what I guess I'm trying to say is that when we look at any sort of a page and we are drawn to the colors, we can think about how they could form the basis of now where did this come from? Oh, this came out of some sort of a magazine, and they must have been talking about pressed flowers. So even these 4 circles could be arranged in grid format and then just build on it from there. What else have I got here? I was looking at these are this is more like cardstock weight, and it was designs from the cover of a craft magazine that I took apart in a recent video. I won't belabor that anymore, other than to show you I saved these gold pages. Some of them are like they were an index from a kid's book. So these are all words that, these could be cut down. I saved the numbers. I saved the borders. So, if I ever wanted to do a metallic one, this would be a good place to start. But it can also be as simple as using, this is an old Martha Stewart, 1996. And the thing here in the beginning is this sort of a reproduction out of a Ralph Lauren paint collection. So this is like a ready-made grill. And finish. Okay, I hear Sandra getting ready to go out and finish organize my garage to get my car back in. It's in the 60s here, so I'm trying to take advantage of it. Yeah, so obviously everybody has other places to be. I'm glad if you're able to spend a bit of time with me. Otherwise, I am just going to carry on doing my thing. This will be no different than. Oh, I do see that there are some other people watching, but who haven't identified themselves. So, what I gathered to use today, let me get rid of all these samples that I showed you. What I gathered was some things that sort of match this spread that I intended to work on. So I've got some tissue paper. I pre-selected some of the more of these things from the top of a calendar. But as I was thinking about it before I turned the camera on, I thought, well, why can't I do some stenciling? So I have a number of ink pads here. And I think I guess if I wanted to glue down some tissue. Oh, and look at this. I thought this was brilliant too. These are, I would say, like they're perforated. I think they came with oh, hi, Christina. Oh my goodness, Christina, I was ready to write you an email today. Remind me, you live in Mississippi, right? No, you live in Memphis or around Memphis. And Lisa Pruitt is your friend. Because I'll tell you, finally, I hope I'm talking to the right person. That's all I can say. I looked back through my heart-to-heart notes, and I found that you're in Memphis, and I had meetup. I wrote down meetup, and I had Lisa Pruitt's name. And if your ears were burning yesterday, I'll tell you why. Carol from Crinkled Path and I finally booked our flights to visit Jonna in May, at the end of May. And one of the things that we said was that when we get there, we could, if it works out for you girls, we could meet and, oh, Lisa's your mother-in-law. Well, was there some other crafter in the area? Because we did have a very spontaneous, but I realize people just get giddy in the moment. Because we thought, oh, this is serendipitous. We can, if we're flying into Memphis to get to have Jonna pick us up there and so on, we could plan a little, a coffee, a meal or whatever with whoever else lives in the area. Okay. So, I'll tell you right now, watch for me to send you an email later today to say, hey, this is when our flight gets in. This is when we're going to be right there in Memphis. Does it work for you and Lisa? And I suppose anybody else who you know off in the area that would like to meet, and because I'm sure I'm sure it'll be fun for all of us. And I'm just trying to quickly look at my yes list. So Christina, I invited you to take part in my masterboard madness that's happening in March. And I didn't get an answer from you. Bad girl. So I sent a reminder, a gentle nudge yesterday to people I hadn't heard from. Because some people, of course, had to say no. Some people, of course, jumped right on it. They may have been repeat people from last year. But I haven't heard from you, and I would love to have you join us if possible. It's like a one and done thing. So you only have to do one video, at your convenience, as long as it airs on the date that you're scheduled for. Oh, yes, you really do need to check your your email. Anyway, I'm so excited about all this, but we better get on to what I have here. Okay, so, and maybe you guys can tell me what you would do. I have some tissue that I thought could work, because part of, I think, what makes a grid foundation work as a foundation for a collage is the fact that you start connecting it. So I have 3 different colors of paper. Now this is not actual tissue, I don't think. So wherever I use this, it would cover up. It wouldn't be translucent like tissue paper is. So, okay, the question for you is, if this was your project, would you be gluing this down first and stamping on top of it? Or not stamping, stenciling? Or would you stencil first and then, and I suppose I could do both for that matter. Okay, you heard about it from Juju. And now I need to, where's that woman? I haven't heard from her either. An A or a nay. I think she took part last year. I'm so confused. I've met so many people. Okay, I'm counting you in. The only other question, the follow-up question I always have for people is, do you prefer a certain time of month? And you can tell me in the chat, or you can email me or whatever. Okay. I think that I want to probably do, I don't see anybody really answering my question, so I think I'll just plow ahead with what I think, which is to do some stenciling ahead of time. So I'll show you what I've collected and sort of why it's made the short list. You can't really go wrong with a botanical kind of thing. And, you know, whether I use the whole thing or not, it's still going to connect so many areas. So that's in the running. Oh, I guess I have some curvy ones, for lack of a better word. You know what, I think I grabbed the wrong one, but this can do for demonstration purposes. I think I picked this one because it's so curvy and it would interact well with the straight rectilinear shapes. So that's why that one's here. Oh dear, that let go. Okay, this has to be a purple side up. I guess you can't fool around too much with. I did use my Yoo-Hoo glue stick for all of these. And you know, I really thought when I was doing this, I thought that all my squares were the same size, but oh, see, so Teresa's saying what I'm thinking. Yeah, to do some stenciling first. This again could work. So you can see I picked all kinds of possibilities. I love peonies. So this too would have a botanic feel. There are so many variations of it. I could, you know, obviously move it around. There's a bud, there are leaves. So I like that option, especially if I want to go in the direction of, say, plum, fuchsia, coral, mulberry. You know, any of those would work well with a peony stencil. Okay, so what else have I got here? Now, I also pulled out these kinds of stencils just because I thought, oh, it would be easy to make this work, you know, down those white spaces. This one has some curviness to it. This is sort of fan-shaped, again, for the same reason. This one is circular. This one, who doesn't love a stencil like this? And this one is like a crackle finish. So that is, does anyone have a real strong preference? Because I'm willing to, if I'm, you know, when you do a live, that's when you finally have a chance to listen to people's input instead of asking the question and knowing darn well that you won't hear an answer. Oh, wait. I told her you had her stencil. Okay, that's good. Yeah. I didn't go through all of my really big stencils. I just went through this, whatever I have on my little spinner here. Okay. I'm thinking that I want to, oh, another one is loose. What the heck? That one has to be blue side up. I alternated the colors, essentially. And of course, it looks like more variation than there really is, because on a magazine spread, you're going to get, you know, all the color variations in the photo. I see an arm, a head, another head. I tried to not make any of those things very recognizable. Okay, so let's start with something. I almost feel like doing, maybe I should do a kind of a generic thing. Maybe I'll use teal here. And then I love the fact, or sorry, my granddaughter grabbing the phone. I like the swirls. Okay, I do too. I'm thinking I'm going to lay sort of a base down though with, because the, I guess what I'm trying to say is the peony would be more like a focal point that would probably go on after the tissue. So this is just sort of repeating the color that is already there. And I guess I should be a little looser about doing that. I could also repeat this, reuse the same stencil with a different colored ink. So I'll just try to be a bit spontaneous here. I may have to do something more in this corner since I ran out of images. But at least if the tissue, if the tissue is transparent, or not transparent, but translucent, there will be something other than white space showing through. Now I left, in this sketchbook I decided, I don't know whether, you probably can't tell, but it is perforated. So if this turned out to be a masterpiece and they wanted it for the, you know, the Louvre or something, then I could detach it, obviously. And I'm also only working on one side because I find that in my art journal or altered book, in some cases I've worked on, you know, well, in many cases I've worked back to back. And of course that means that, you know, you kind of can't use it. Okay, I think what I want to do is maybe glue down some of, you know what, maybe I should use this opaque one in this corner. And we'll see, we'll get a better idea for how see-through or not it is. Where is my glue stuff? Typically, I just use glue stick. Of course, you have to be careful on this very thin, very flimsy paper. But usually it's not the end of the world if it does tear, because you know, you're more than likely it'll be covered up with something else. Oh, and another thing I found, I had this pulled out because I was working on Carol's swap journal, and hallelujah, I did finish it and tape the flip through. So, but that won't air till June. The Louvre is calling. So this is, I think this is probably a craft supply that I thrifted. And it's kind of got a sticky back, but nothing you could really trust. But I thought it kind of looks really good there. And it also matches, what did I do with those playing pieces? So I think this came like from one of those kits for a shower party, like a baby shower bingo game or something. So that's waiting in the wings there too, if I want to use that. Anyway, let's repeat this in another place or two. Whoops. Rip that. Don't really want very itty bitty pieces. Again, this is a 9 by 12, so you kind of need to keep things in proportion to you know, in proportion to the size of the substrate. Oh, let me just read back here. Whoops. I was a jumper. What the heck does that mean? Xander, if you're still here, tell us what. You heard about it from Juju. Juju's been really doing some training for work. She's really swamped right now. Susan Dufresne. Okay, if Christina is still here, I'm glad that Jonna, I think that was further back in the chat, that Jonna introduced herself. Jonna is the preppy crafty girl. And of course, until you make that connection, you can't really know what her name is, like her real name is. But yeah, she has offered to be our chauffeur. And I'll tell you why. I'll let you in a little secret as to why we're going there in the first place, other than, you know, Jonna's lovely presence, is because on February 22nd, live, we, and I'll tell you who we is in a second, we are finally launching the details about an opening registration for our October retreat. And because it's going to be, you know, I'm not telling you the location because that's part of the reveal, but let's just say it's not in Alberta. It's not in Alberta. So the we is Jonna, myself, Carol from Crinkle Path, and Angela, the traveling crafter, who are going to be the hosts for the retreat. And you'll be able to watch the launch live on any of our channels. We're all taking part in the, because we've all had a role, we all got the idea at the same time. It was through a late night, you know, text extravaganza. So Mississippi, why do I keep saying Mississippi? Memphis is, you know, a drive away from where we need to be. But we will be staying there for a few days, nailing down the details for the October retreat. So it'll give us an opportunity, since we'll be in a nearby state, to see the venue, really figure out the plan for the weekend, and obviously get to know each other on a more substantial level. Out of the bunch of us, Carol and I are the only ones who have ever met in person. So it's oh, wasn't I said I was going to be oh, that's right. I did do some background stenciling, and I'm leaving the other ones to do over the, see how much nicer the see-through one is. I'm just laying some groundwork here for a surface to sample or stencil on. I have to say, if I seem like I'm, kind of out of it this morning, it's because it started yesterday and it continued today, where I feel something going on in my throat. And you know how when we were kids and sore throats seemed to be a regular occurrence, and then before you know it, your mother is palpating you under the at the under your, like where your jawbone, the corner of your jawbone meets your neck, and thinking, oh, swollen glands. And I don't know if anybody then or anybody today is exactly what that means. But yeah, my glands are swollen. I had tea this morning instead of coffee. I had a lozenge. I feel like I'm getting a bit hoarse. But anyway, you carry on. Okay, so back to the I hope that when you're watching my videos or anybody else's, I hope you have a piece of paper and a pencil beside you, or something, a lipstick and a coloring book, to write important things down. So you will want, and now I've put a notice on my community tab about this live that's coming up, and of course, if you've subscribed and get notifications, you will be prompted to join us. Again, it's Saturday, February 21st. I think I might have said 22nd before, but it's actually the 21st. And yeah, we will be talking about what we're offering and all those details that you need. And then shortly after that, registration will open, and just, we're trying obviously to do this in a way that makes sense, a way that allows us to keep the registration fee down and just simplify the whole process. So if registration will be payable through a listing on Carol's Makers Market store. So that avoids us having to pay the PayPal processing fees and commissions and all of that. So, but what that means for you is that if you intend to register, and I'll tell you, there are a limited number of spots, it's going to be practically one-on-one. The ratio is going to be so good. And the group will be so intimate that, everyone is going to have their needs met. Anyway, okay, back to how the registration is going to work. And Carol will go over this some more on the 22nd, but I'm just thinking that because there are really very few spots, it's going to be like buying concert tickets. The fastest fingers are the ones who are going to get through. So if you are not already registered through the Makers Market, then you want to do that before that day, because you know how things go sometimes. If you wait till the last moment and have any sort of, it's not a hard process, but let's face it, it's like Murphy's Law of Technology. Oh, Sandy is here. I'm having major FOMO, but I hope you post videos. Yes. Well, and obviously we will do that. Because there are some people, probably more so than me, who are, great at doing those sort of spontaneous type things. So I'm sure there will be content that we'll be streaming, not necessarily streaming, but posting from there. Anyway, so back to Makers Market. So you go to you go to district.net/Makers Market, and I can't remember exactly what the prompt is, but it might say join or something. There's no cost or obligation to join. All it means is that your particulars have been captured, and when you feel like making a purchase, you're already set up. It's like you do at any other sales platform. So my advice is, if you're thinking of coming, do that ahead of time so that you're ready. If you choose, I don't know why, but if you would choose not to follow through, then, no harm, no foul. Nothing has changed in that way. Okay. I don't know if that's enough, but you can see how by overlapping, by the variety of shapes and colors, that there are some connections starting to be built between all these disparate squares. So I guess I can think about, do I want to use, okay, let me see what's happening. Oh, hi, Julie. Yeah, I was just talking about the fact that on February 21st, Hazel, Jonna, Carol, Angela are going to be doing a live launch with our retreat details, and registration will open that day. Okay, swollen lymph, Christina. Those are swollen lymph nodes. The immune system carries pathogen bits to the lymph nodes, and the lymph nodes try to match the shape of the pathogen bits to the shape of an immune cell part. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I so far haven't done the chicken soup thing or the I have to see what she's talking about there. What Teresa's talking about there in a minute. So I've done the tea with honey. I haven't done the extra nap or, resting part. The lozenge. Oh, I took, because it feels a little bit like a head cold too, some cold and sinus stuff, because I do have kind of a dull head. Okay, now I don't want these little squares, these little markers, to turn this into a, look like a shotgun blast, in that they're all these itty bitty things. Anyway, I'd better see what is going on here. So Teresa, are you talking about Christina's highlighted thing? That would be great. Is that what you're referring to? Okay, so the medical advice is still coming. Then when it finds a match, it makes a bunch of immune cells that match the exact pathogen and send it out to find the virus or bacteria. So your lymph nodes swell. It's pretty cool. Yes, Julie, you will pay for the registration on the Maker's Market. And to make it easier for people, I don't know if this is common or if this is just because we're such wonderful people, but we will be giving people the option of putting down a 1/3 deposit and then paying the other 2/3, obviously, well before the event starts. Oh, hi, Don. Susie has a good question. Christina, what do you do for a living? I don't have time to look up my notes, so I'm hoping she answers that herself. So Julie, it sounds like you may be considering joining us at the retreat. It is, I think it's going to be really special. So, again, there is no rubber hose or bare light bulb here to force any more details out of me. So I'm not going to say anything more because, we got to build some momentum and some interest. I feel like maybe I should do a bit of why do I keep saying stamping? Let's blame it on my lymph nodes. I'm going to do some stenciling, and I showed you the colors I was thinking, just because I love those colors and because I want to, at this point, use my peony stencil. And then, of course, if necessary, I could go in with more abstract kind of stuff. And, there really isn't a wrong decision here because we can keep layering until the cows come home. So, for instance, if I use this biggest peony right here, or maybe I should do it right here where I was missing a couple of papers. But the color, now that I've added that tissue. Okay, let me see what else is happening. Oh, and Teresa did put the post for, yes, we're calling the retreat Crafty Girls Create. And the tagline is where makers meet. Just read you need. Yeah, so you just have to make sure. Oh, hi, Angela. I was just explaining the Maker's Market need to. I'm advising people to work on registering ahead of time if they haven't already done so, because I'm telling people that it's going to be like concert tickets going on sale. It's going to be the fastest fingers that will be successful in the end. So you don't want to leave any, housekeeping kind of stuff for the last minute. Okay, back to Christina. She works in a microbiology lab, took an oh, right. Yes. It's all coming back to me. Come one, come all. We were so excited. And John, of course, is saying, and Angela, did you see my text this morning about the May trip? Christina lives in Memphis. So when we land there, we are planning a little get together with her if she and her mother-in-law, I guess, and maybe I don't know who else is in the vicinity, wants to get together. So we're kind of, Jonas is all the other girls. I missed multitasking for nights. Okay, I see. So yeah, you've got, like everyone, juggling multiple balls. Yeah, really looking forward to having a little extra time just with Jonna in her home area. I think that, we haven't even gotten there yet, and she's already proving to be the hostess with the mostest. So maybe I'll try this fuchsia and see what happens with that. Coral might be too big a jump here. Okay, so that is coming up. Oh, I also wanted to say, because I don't know if Dawn has announced it on her channel, that she did retire. She did decide to retire along with her husband. So right now she's kind of footloose and fancy free. So she is choosing to say no to her invitation to be part of my masterboard thing in March. But you know, we can understand that, and we can wish her well in that regard. So imagine that feeling, people, of just being able to choose your own activities each day. So congratulations to Dawn. Okay, so Christina's saying she definitely wants to meet up. That is awesome. Hopefully my lymph nodes will not be swollen, but if necessary, I would let you palpate them and just, you know, get a feel for what's going on there. Because, you know, that's what our mothers always used to do, and that's what we as mothers used to do. Okay, let's get a feel. I could do this bud too while I'm here, I guess. I'm using the Ranger Archival ink just because I love some of those colors. So that is really nice. And I don't think I want to introduce green. So I will just repeat probably exactly the same large one, the large stencil, the largest peony, because again, I don't want a whole bunch of itty bitty things. And if you joined late and you want to know more about using grids as a basis for your collages, I will, wait, no, I can't really do that. Oh, Teresa, if you're still here, maybe you could, if you could put Kelly's, Collage Lab link in the description box. She has a free course called G is for Grid. And of course, I'm also taking her Amuse Bouche course. And I also did another freebie that she offered called 6 Collages in 60 Minutes. That was breakneck speed, let me tell you. It didn't help that I was not a good compliant student, and I chose 4x6 as opposed to smaller substrate. So that meant that, you know, she'd be saying, okay, time is up. Reach for your next whatever. And I would think, oh, crap. So maybe I would be interested to know, and I've heard Christina Rains, you know, the thing she did in December, January, and now she has her, of course, her full-blown paid class going. I, of course, took the free ones. She also, has talked about grids. So I'm curious, am I the only one in the world? Am I the only one in the world who didn't know about this sort of a structure? You know, because I think sometimes people, whether they're working on, okay, let me back up. Last year, when I did the first Masterboard Madness collab, some of the people I invited said, oh, I'm so honored. I've never been invited, blah, blah, blah. But I've never done a masterboard, or I'm not very good, or whatever. And I, obviously I don't buy crap like that. And to their credit, without exception, even people who had never done masterboards signed up and came up with really good projects. And of course, the participants all have the choice of doing it, you know, kind of creating as they go on their video, or maybe just showing what they created on their own time, maybe showing how they would use it, and so on. Anyway, so that makes me think that there are probably as many people out there who say, well, my collages are kind of, I'm not happy with the way I collage. I don't feel confident or whatever. And I am thinking that this is an awesome way. Maybe I should pick a smaller guy or do another bud. This is an awesome way to probably get a person feeling a little more confident, because, any of us can put something down, glue something down in a grid. And at the start of this live, I showed you all the different things that I have ready to go in a variety of shapes and styles and sizes. And you also, of course, never have to work as large as this. And just for the people who came late, this was one that I had done on, I guess if I could get rid of, maybe that's why, cannot see your project because the highlighted comment. Okay, so how do I get rid of that highlighted comment? Oh yes, I just figured that out myself, that it is blocking the view. That would be great. Oh, okay, got it. Okay, so I was showing this one that I had done on photo album, when we take apart old photo albums. So this one, and maybe it's a good thing I did it privately, was a bit of a challenge because my little pieces were so far from the edge. Now, of course, I could have cut it down, but instead I thought, well, play with it. What's the worst that could happen? So, there is a fair bit of the black background showing, but I'm still pretty pleased with it. So again, I was saying, maybe keep not, why am I giving advice? I'm just telling you what I've experienced. On this page, where I have these images from a wine calendar, you could drive a semi through those spaces that I left. But instead, I guess when I get to it, I will see if I like that or if I prefer the closer spacing. And then the other decision, of course, is how much around your grid how much space are you leaving around your grid? In this one that I did for the 6 and 60 minutes, of course, this was not decorated at all. And again, considering that those are all supposed to be the same size pieces, I've got some white space showing, I've got some overlapping, I've got some crooked ones. This is obviously a different thing than the others I've shown you. So I think it's like anything else. Do what intuitively feels right to you. And, it's, where's that bud? And it will all be fine in the end. Or, worst case scenario, you find something you don't like and you think, okay, I'm never doing that again. But you don't know that unless you try it. Try the different variations. Okay, so maybe that's enough peonies for now, although I can't believe I'm saying that. I feel like I want to add some of this grid stuff. And again, I said that it's, well, I guess the adhesive part of it is really disappearing before my very eyes. So, oh, you know what? I didn't. Maybe what I should do is figure out where I want the pieces and let them just... Oh, I know what I was supposed to do with this thing. Sorry, I'm going to just switch horses for a minute here. I have these adhesive little plastic things. The adhesive is pretty well toast on them. So I was wondering, do you think I should add, I don't know which is the right letter. Typically, I always save the H's for Hazel. But, you know, I could pick any random letter, like maybe a Q or something. Okay. Love the stencils layered on top. Home improve. Okay, so Dawn is saying that there's going to be some home improvement done. Christina says that she thinks I'm going to live, even with my swollen glands. Sorry if I'm paraphrasing, but, you know, we're among friends here. Okay, that is what I meant. Have 2 hands free now because it's nap time. Yay, Teresa. Okay, Julie is asking, are the Squares magazine pages? On this one, all these components came from a calendar. So the thumbnails on the back cover of a calendar, and this is heavy kind of linen-like paper. It's one of those, you know, chef kind of calendars. So this is heavier paper. This was magazine page. This was calendar page. These two, whoops, are just magazines. So they're ultra thin. But I was showing, I'll just pull that out again. In this old Martha Stewart Living, there is a page like this. So this could even be used by itself. You even have a few items already down. So, of course, when you go to a hardware store and in the paint department, they always have those brochures where they show paint chips, or they show, well, really, you'd probably want the one with all the chips. You know, this may not be what you want. I also showed a few other ideas. So they could be book pages. This is from an index, titles and page numbers from an index from a kid's book. Some of these are vintage magazine ads. Some are all sorts of shapes. They don't have to be uniform in shape. They could also be, you know, little punch outs, whatever size you prefer. In fact, in here, I think it was in here, I showed you that I had 4 large circles that came out of a magazine. So they would be about 4 inches in diameter. So 4 things could be a grid too. I don't think there's any magic in making sure that the grid is equal in size horizontally and vertically. Again, unless that turns your crank. But so here I've got 3 by 4. Here I've got 3, 6, 9, 10 by 6. So it's, you know, it's, I think anything you do is going to be fine. Okay, so I wanted to show you and ask you what you thought about this, because I said I can't find my gears, either metal or my plastic ones. So, excuse me. Oh, I could put an ampersand. Do you think that looks good? And number 1, do you agree with that choice? And number 2, are you kind of turned off by how, what a cheap gold that looks like, or a brass color? Because I thought I could just hit it with my Distress Oxide brush just to tone back that gold a bit, or that brassy color. Okay, oh, and let me keep up with what's going on here. So Susie is saying, carry the paper crafter, and my friend Julie Torrance has done it with watercolor. Okay. I don't know, Julie Torrance. Susie, tell me. You can email me. Is that somebody that I should be aware of? And is that a potential guest for Heart to Heart? Okay, so... Okay, no, Christina, I've lost the thread here. LOL, I thought she was really excited to meet me in Memphis. So are we talking about Jonna there? Because, Jonna is just lovely. Okay, that is so cute. I've been putting aside red and black colors. I decided to make a journal to honor my Aunt Dee. She created, yes, the genealogy collection that you're working on. B for bodacious. Oh, I could do that. But you also like the ampersand. Okay, I want to tell you that I was involved in a former life with a very going concern. She was a provincial MLA. So in the American world, that would be, I guess, the equivalent of a state governor, I think. I don't know what the correlation is exactly, but anyway, so she was a very successful businesswoman and politician in her own right. Anyway, we were planning this thing, and we called ourselves Bodacious Broads. Okay, I think I'm going to go with the ampersand, and I'm going to just see if I have enough grunge on this brush, on my brown brush. Oh, yeah. To just remove some of that shiny. Oops. Or is that enough, depending on what you guys are seeing? Okay, I am going to use Fabri-Tac because this is the heavier thing. Now, I will say that with these collages that I'm doing in my sketchbook, there will not be any kind of, raised surfaces and bulk, because that just doesn't, it's not going to serve me well for the collage, for the, oh my goodness, I can't find my words today. It will, it will just make it easier to continue working in the sketchbook if I don't have lumpy, bumpy bits to worry about. Now, I, of course, am very grateful to those of you who are here, because I think people would really wonder about me if I was talking to myself. So thank you for sparing me that embarrassment. And I'm choosing to put it there. Again, I don't know if anyone really cares what sorry. I don't know if anyone really cares what my thought process is, but I keep inflicting it on you. There's a little tiny speck of glue that oozed out. Anyway, the reason I put it there and not there is because it covered that sharp line between the red and the cream color. So that was the thinking there, in case you were wondering. I wonder if this is going to stay on here long term. Oh, that's kind of smeary. I should have left well enough alone. Maybe I can rub that off with my finger. Okay, let me stop while in my head. Once this glue has grabbed, oh my goodness, I moved it around just enough to have more glue ooze out. One thing, this is me unfiltered here, and if you know what happens, if something hits the fan, you're going to see it and hear it. Anyway, I started to say I'm really grateful for you being here. So I guess I want to, just do a little informal poll. Is this something that you want me to continue doing? Because I am finding that I'm really loving the the return to art creation. Um, goodness knows I have all the supplies from when I was, you know, showing in art shows and so on. And now I have additional life experience, new and better tools, blah, blah, blah. If you, I talk to myself all that she was wearing. Okay, I talk to myself. I'm the only one who thinks I'm brilliant. Okay, and Susie's saying she will email because she's sweet, a retired nurse who has immune disease that makes her videos random. Her name is Julie Torrance, and she has a connection to PM artists. Oh, I wonder, that name may sound familiar because she could be one of their designers. Anyway, okay, I'm jumping all over the place here. What I'm trying to find out is whether you want me to continue doing these lives on a semi-regular basis. And the reason I'm asking is because a while back I did a video where I showed you 3 mixed media pieces that I had begun years ago, long before I had a challenge. And they were in various stages of completion. And I asked you to vote in the comments as to what I should be doing next with them, or which one. No, sorry. The question was, which one would you want me to complete in a video? And, there were a variety of answers, but the majority of them wanted me to work on what I will call the teal orange one. And so what I did, because that is the way I do things, is I hung that piece up on my, Professor Hazel. Do what you love, people enjoy it because you are having fun. Well, thanks, guys. Okay, so I have obviously a door to my space here, and I have hanging over the top of the door is one of those wreath hangers that people use typically around Christmas when they don't want to, they want to hang a wreath, but they don't want to necessarily pound a hole in there, something or other, in a door. Especially when doors can be typically are hollow core, which means there's a wood veneer, but then there's an air space, and then there's a wood veneer on the other side. So then you've got that vacuum, you've got air in between. So anyway, a wreath hanger. So periodically, when I've done something and I want time to let it sit, and tell me as I'm playing around with this, if these things are adding, or are they just, I guess why I'm thinking this might be good is because they would introduce some long, now they're all skinny, but they will introduce some long continuous elements, which sometimes is a good thing to have. I don't frankly like the straight line, but I could disguise that in some way, or I could, where they are a bit wider, because you can see some are really narrow, and then this one is wider. I could also try to take a bit off with my tearing ruler. Anyway, back to the wreath hanger. So I would hang pieces on there that needed time to just percolate. No, not percolate. Marinate. And so with that teal and orange painting, it's a landscape, the landscape format. It's 24 inches, I think, by 12. So it's fairly substantial. It would be really hard to get it on screen. It would be impossible to get it on screen for the whole thing. Anyway, so I thought, okay, yeah, great. Ask the people what they want, and then you have to deliver. That's probably not the one I would have chosen. But I asked, so of course I'm going to follow through. The problem for me is that at this moment in time, I don't know what the answer is. So what I did was I took a bunch of paint chips and some really god-awful sticky tack. I have it in this pill bottle. Anyway, so I tried out some solutions as to what I think would add a very definite focal point. And I, using sticky tack, and again, don't ever buy this white crap, because look, doesn't it almost look like pudding or something in there? So I very confidently sticky tack all my different shapes and colors and so on onto the canvas and think, oh, every time I go in and out of my space, my eye will catch it and it will tell me exactly what to do. Well, before I know it, I see that these things are falling off the canvas. But worse than that, I could live with that. Worse than that, it left a kind of a gooey residue. So now, before I work on it, I'm going to have to find a way to get all of those little puddles of white goo off there so that I can try again with probably the blue sticky tack, which actually, I'm just trying to see if I can find some here. Anyway, I should add that to my shopping list for the dollar store because there must be some better stuff on the market. And because that canvas has some texture to it, because I use modeling paste, well, let me just get it. You guys, you'll wait a second while I get it, right? Okay, what do we have for up and down here? Oh, I don't have a hang. Oh, yeah, I do have a hanger on it. So this is up. So look at this. And so how, maybe I have to use a heat gun? This is why, and look, it picked up some of the paint too. So you can see that I had, different color, different paint chips. Yeah, this is going to be something. That's why I've been avoiding doing this. My intention was that this would be the subject of one of these lives. Oh, I don't know if you probably can't see me pulling this one. This one almost seems like it wanted to come up, so I don't know if it's like, that's like getting bubble gum out of a little girl's hair. Like, dumb. So anyway, and then of course I would probably still want to reuse these till I figure out my solution here. Anyway, that is my dilemma. However, maybe I can make it my business to pick at this, get all this crap off here. Oh, you know what? I wonder if nail polish remover would work. Anybody have any bright ideas? Oh, thanks, Dawn. Thanks for stopping in. And yeah, have a good day, whatever you're doing the rest of the day. Okay, so yeah, this is the bloody mess that I'm left with. So I either have to find a way to get all this residue off here. Look at this big puddle. Anyway, I won't waste any more of your time doing that, but that's my challenge. So once I get that cleaned up to the point that I can actually work on it, I would be bringing that to one of these live mixed media things, because of course that is, you know, the perfect project, because it's mixed media. Okay, we've been here an hour and 20 minutes, so I kind of am doubting whether this will get completed. And honestly, I listened to a video this morning, or was it last night? I don't know if I'm going to remember who it was, because of course the other thing Oh, would that lift your paint? Nail polish remover. Making it cold would help to chip it off. You mean like putting an ice cube on it, like when people drip candle wax on a tablecloth? Yeah, it's so gooey. I really couldn't believe my eyes. Anyway, I was watching somebody's video recently, and they said, let the art take as long as it needs. So to feel that especially for someone like me who doesn't edit, to let to let the project, well, yeah, to let the project take as long as it needs. Don't force it, don't rush it. It's not a race. It's not that. Half the joy of doing it is what Rachel from Roxer Creations would call auditioning. Maybe I should use... See, the problem with using a glue gun on something with holes is that it's like it almost serves like a grater. And it grates the end of your glue stick and fills the holes. But I'll try to have a light touch here. Now I'm putting this in such a way that the colors, the variety of colors, peep through the little holes. Now I could obviously leave some of these up. I could have some of them go crooked. That obviously makes it more interesting. I probably should have torn a few more, or I could have some missing altogether. So it just adds another degree of complexity or interest. Okay. I guess another option would be to put the glue down on the substrate and then, see and hope that it's not too much wider than it needs to be. Again, I'm just kind of giving this a little bit more interest by doing that. Okay. I also wanted to say that I'm loving the Heart to Heart series that I've been doing for the last, what is it? I think it's 37 weeks now. Oh, and you must tune in tomorrow for Lisa from Isla and Alice. I think that's going to be a good one. And so what I'm finding, okay, let me gather my thoughts here. Many of you will know that I I stopped thrifting in November. And other than going to the dollar store once in a blue moon when I need something, I've stuck to that. I don't open all the emails I get about auctions and so on, and I'm enjoying the fact that I'm not doing this. Why did I bring that up? Oh, so one of the side effects of not thrifting is that my credit card bill isn't as big as it used to be. I, of course, wherever I can, I pay with a credit card because I'm collecting points. And that's, that in itself could be dangerous thinking. However, we always pay our balances in full, so it's not like it's costing me anything more than the actual purchase. I'm not in a debt cycle of paying interest. However, I'm noticing that the credit card balance is much, much, much smaller. And what I have begun doing, and it wasn't a conscious decision, but it just seemed that, okay, I'm not thrifting. I'm getting excited again about art creation versus necessarily just journal making. So I find that wherever possible, I'm investing time and money in myself. And I think that is worth a consideration, or it's worth thinking about. I know that for me, and I suspect for many of the people who would be watching or listening to this, that the last thing you need is another thing, another supply, another book, another whatever it is that, wherever our particular weaknesses are. But I've also very kind of deliberately and cautiously been paying for some courses. Now, obviously, any marketer worth their salt knows that you offer a freebie, you get people hooked and engaged, and then you come up with the sales pitch and sell them on the idea of going deeper, going further, getting exclusive content. There's a whole science to selling in that way. So on the odd occasion, I have, and it just kills me, it really kills me that everything is priced in US dollars because, of course, our Canadian exchange rate is poor. So it can cost me up to a third or 40% more than the posted price by the time the exchange rate is factored in. But I have been, again, without deliberately setting out to do so, it's just evolved. I've been really spending a lot of time in courses, free or paid, because I want to keep growing. I've said that what turns me on is my commitment to lifelong learning, and it's more than just a catchy phrase. I live it, and frankly, it's easier to justify course fees if you haven't been overspending, if I haven't been overspending on, stuff that I don't need, like thrifted stuff. So I guess I'm just throwing that out there as a way to think about it. And I suppose if I want, and certainly I'm not trying to do a sales pitch here, but if I wanted to turn this back to the fact that, we are announcing the retreat details and we are opening registration very soon, like in less than a week? No, just over a week. Let's face it, if people have been saving their pennies and their dollars, instead of spending it at a thrift store or at a live sale, which seems to be available pretty well around the clock, 24/7, 365, then there is the rationale. And remember, I'm the queen of rationalization. There is the rationale and the funds to invest in an experience as opposed to more stuff. And, I'm sure the day will come when I will go back to thrift stores, perhaps when I'm visiting Jonna. So I'm old enough and mature enough to know that it's foolish to say never. So I know that, I will go into thrift stores again one day. But for now, I'm really happy with this decision to invest in courses. And when I say invest, it's not only money, it's time. So I guess this was all, in a way, a lead up to saying, if I haven't been watching every single thing that every single person is doing in terms of videos, collabs, challenges, lives, live sales, it's because I I've been busy. It takes a great deal of time, number one, to come up with a guest list for Heart to Heart, to do the research. Well, first of all, to book the spots. That can take forever, especially when people don't check their email. And sometimes it's almost impossible to track down an email for someone. It's kind of good if you have glue that has gotten where it doesn't belong to, if you can gently rub it off with your finger, good. If not, use one of these things. Oh, yeah, you wrecking the paper, but that's okay. It just adds a bit of texture there. So yeah, between finding the guests, making contact, scheduling them, doing the graphic and promotion for it, and then binge watching videos. And I do it very, like, I have my own method for doing it. I don't just, watch for 5 minutes. I pick randomly some videos to watch, and I watch them all because I want to do a good job, and I want to make I want to give a fair representation of that person, and I want to make the questions relevant and specific to them. So I feel guilty, and I feel like I'm cheating myself in some ways, that I haven't been able to show as much. I feel cheated that I'm not seeing the content that friends and associates are creating. And I also feel that I am not being as good at showing support to others. And it's that golden rule thing, that karma thing. Do unto others as you would have them do unto you. So, we all want people to watch our stuff. We want people to appreciate our stuff, but it has to be a two-way street. So I'm just hoping that people understand that right now my focus is spread a little thin, and could maybe forgive me on that, or understand why I might come and go to something. It's because I got stuff that needs doing. And I think the challenge too, and I'm going to say that tomorrow night, but I can say it twice. I can say it to you guys here too. That if you are aware of any guests that you think that I would connect with, because honestly, I can't force myself to connect with. I pride myself on being able to talk to anybody, but I also want it to be somewhat enjoyable. Just because I can doesn't mean I want to. So if you know of somebody who has rapport, you think I would have rapport with, someone I'd want to spend an hour and a half with, somebody who has something to bring to the series that maybe we haven't seen so far, then by all means reach out to me. And especially the people who have been guests, what the experience was like, both front end and back end. So, by all means do that. And the other thing, let me see, I think the ability to link the channels and interview programs help those creators you feel you are slighting. Okay, that's good. Susie says, mantra. Oh, let me back up even further. Okay, so Teresa's saying that her mantra in action is life leads us where we are supposed to go. Susie says she stopped thrifting for a while, but she has been supporting crafty friends and she still has too much stuff. She likes live sales because of the chat and the wonderful community we have. Oh, and Susie says that she loves the way this is evolving. Okay, so I was talking about suggesting, yes. Oh, and one other thing I fussy cut this morning. It was from the front of a calendar, one of those foot and mouth artist calendars. I was thinking that because this has two sharp corners, maybe this ends up being here. But again, I wouldn't glue that down at this stage of the game because how does it connect with anything else? But it's something I'm reserving. I just had another thought that has now left me. Well, I hope it comes back because I think it was something kind of important. Okay, people, I was going to do something with this. Now, I won't take the time on this live. I bet you I can't tear it, so I'm going to have to cut it, which kind of makes me a little, well, I'll cut jaggedy. How about if I cut jaggedy? Just so it's not such a rectangle. So I will kind of audition placement of a few of these pieces. And if you watch me, you know how I love using stuff up. It just makes my heart sing. Whether it's a bottle of shampoo or a craft supply. Because then I think, okay, done with that. On to something else. So this kind of looks cool here, again, because I have this big island of mauve here. So it would be great if it's stuck on its own, but I can't trust that. Oh, and another thing, because I just finished Carol's journal, swap journal, I also have a bunch of, but again, I said I wasn't going to get too crazy with thickness. Too bad Hope isn't here. I don't think Hope is here. She loves turquoise and teal. See, I do have this sort of stuff that I haven't put away yet. A wee bit of lace, and I do also have not a great selection, but I do have some washi tape too that could, imagine this on there. Those are probably the only two I would use, although I have this glittery one. Okay, so let's go back to this mesh. Maybe I can hold down the mesh just by gluing something down up on top, like over it, that would hold it in place. So this is what I'm leaning to so far. Whoops. Oh, I know what I was going to say. It was still regarding heart to heart. Okay, so, many of you know that Carrie, the paper monkey, was one of the first people I invited way back when. And for the longest time, she was kind of playing a little coy. She said, no, I don't think I can do it. Time, blah, blah, blah. Anyway, then, then it looked like she was ready to try to schedule it. And of course, it's hard for her because she works out of town, and I think her days are long and whatever. So we tried to figure out how to do that. We actually did an interview. And then I thought I could premiere it as a live, which would allow the chat to go live, but in fact, it would have been pre-recorded. And I was so hoping that that was going to work because Karamia, another person that I invited long ago, we're probably coming up on the 1-year anniversary of that. She's got a scheduling issue too. If people's work schedule is such that they can't ever be available on a Wednesday at the time that I've set for this, then, we're kind of at a dead end. Then we have other people like Sandy. Love Sandy, but I don't think the day is ever going to come when she's going to show her face on camera. So who are we kidding? So in talking to Karamia lately about, because she's one of the people who's going to be in the Masterboard thing again. Let me find maybe a fourth one and we'll put this thing to rest here. Hope just dropped her second video. I tried to find her channel the other day. And of course, when I'm on a heart-to-heart or here, I can't quickly go and do whatever. I'm lucky if I remember to make a note of it on paper. Anyway, I tried to search for it and I came across Hope's Crafts and Cooking, but I don't think that's her. So I'll have to try a little harder, or I will email her and tell her to send me the link in email. Because I do want to support her, because she's been very supportive of me and so many of us. Okay, that's probably a bit close there. Anyway, so back to Karamia. So I had done a live craft and chat with Caroline from Caroline's Craft Tree. And she said, well, could we do something like that? And of course, Sandy and I did a live craft and chat. And I'm thinking, you know what? That could be the perfect solution. Or Carla Frizzell, that's another one who, is reluctant to appear on camera. So that could be an option. So I guess I'm just giving you guys a heads up that could be an option for people who aren't able because of their schedules, or are reluctant because of don't want to face the camera. And I mean, I think, I was like that too, but we get over it, or some of us get over it. Some people have said, I'm really flattered that you asked me, but I have anxiety and I cannot do it. So, that could be an option for those people as well. So we know that it's my nature to ask questions. So I think I could get all the scoop out of them. Tell Hope. I have to tell Hope how to find her own. Oh, Teresa's had to help Hope find her own channel. Okay, so yeah, that's, I know I've talked about that with some guests, kind of making it as easy as possible to be found. Anyway, okay, so this is where I think I want these mesh things. And I'm just going to leave that there for the time being. Of course, if I felt that, there's another spot where it's absolutely vital, I could add, I got a big, maybe I should put one there. And again, it helps me get closer to using it all up. So anyway, I wanted you guys to be the first to sort of know about that will be how I'm going to be able to feature some people. And so far I haven't figured out the logistics of that. It might be on a case-by-case basis. So in other words, not scheduled on a particular day, but rather when the two of our schedules mesh with a particular, where my schedule meshes with a particular other person's schedule. I feel like I need something there. So that's where I'm thinking about taking that. So in fact, you know what? I think, let me just see. I think that Karamia and I scheduled oh yeah, we picked a date in April. I guess she knew she was going to be off, and I was wide open at that point. So yeah, we have a date scheduled. So you can expect to see people who have been on my list for a long time, but just and I never want anyone to, if they're tuning in and maybe or lurking, I never want people to feel like I'm calling you out, or unless I think you have the good sense of humor and you'd understand it. But people who like I'm not naming names if it would in any way embarrass or reveal something about a person. I'm talking in generic terms that there are some people who said that they cannot do it, again, because of anxiety or whatever. So, that's between the two of us. If it's a scheduling problem, like with Carrie and Karamia and people like that, then that's a different story, obviously. So if you have been invited to be a guest and, thought, well, I don't, I know that like Denise Gardner, she said she was ultra shy, but she would consider it in the future. So again, that could be an option for somebody like Denise. So in your travels in YouTube land, when you're commenting on people's videos or talking to them in the chat, by all means, feel free to, to encourage them, to invite them, to nudge them, to challenge them, whatever strategy works for a particular person, to take that extra step. Because, challenges are there for us to rise up to them. Oh, Angela, hello. Hazel and Angela sent you both the link by email also. Okay, yeah. So we want to support Hope, obviously, because she's been so good to all of us. Now, Angela, can I just put you on the spot? Oh, Hope had Gail Augustinelli comment on her first video yesterday? Well, that's something you can take to the bank, isn't it? Oh, my goodness. Anyway, back to Angela. Angela, I don't think I really know you, and I'm so glad you're here. Can I just plant the seed of an idea in your mind that perhaps you should be a guest on Heart to Heart? And if you want to know what that involves, number one, you can always look at past episodes. There are 37 of them now. You could tune in live tomorrow while I interview Lisa from Isla and Alice. Or if you're shyer and want more information, you could email me. Well, let me write down your channel name while it's front of mind here. Angela Jones Creates. If I can easily find an email for you, I can send you an email. But if, your email, if I need to become a detective, I'm finding myself more and more reluctant to do that. Okay, what else? Anyway, long story short, I would be happy to interview you in that setting. Ooh. But again, this is in a sketchbook, so I gotta, hey, how about, okay, Man in the Street poll. I'll for sure check it out. I'm always open to connect and have conversation. Yay! Contact information. Well, bless your heart. That's what I want to see. But so many people don't even tell us what their given name is. Never mind how to find them. Okay, let's pretend that you were here voting. Would you, what do you think should be the next element? I've got some wispy pieces of this chiffon stuff. You know, would you like to see me use that? Or does the glittery washi kind of look a bit cheesy? Can everybody see? So, and I also have this, maybe this should be another choice here, because I can certainly add some washi. And then, you know, at some point I will be obviously on the lookout for a focal point, because this alone will not cut it. I could look through some of my floral fussy cuts because I have some gigantic ones. Okay, Angela's saying she likes the flat over the glitter. Yeah, I think that's why I have glitter washi, because I never use it, because it somehow it just seems, I don't know, teen girl tool. I don't know. Susie, I don't know if you can replay live chat when we watch after we all get a place to comment, unless there's a way I can do that to get links. And Teresa's saying she thinks the live comments appear after 24 hours. Yeah, I agree with you, Angela. It just pulls the eye too much. And again, you know, it could be that there will be a place for this, but in far smaller doses. Okay. So I guess the choice then, see, the thing is, when only one person votes, they automatically win. Let's get some better scissors. I'm going to try to shred, tear. Oh, maybe in my weakened, I was going to say in my weakened state, I can't rip fabric. Again, I don't want anything to be too itty bitty. That's pulling up the tissue. Ah. And who says washi tape doesn't stick? Pulled up a couple pieces of paper. I don't want very itty bitty pieces, because then it just gets so very busy. Now this, I'm thinking, is so bold and in our faces that I will have to obviously cover it with something at some point, or knock it back or whatever. Like I could use gesso too, I suppose, when the time comes. Oh, Kay is here. Hi, Kay. Yeah, so basically today for those of you who joined late, I was talking about using grids as the basis for collage. And I showed this one that I had done. Looks like this, if I put it down, you'll see more of it. So this was on black photo album paper. And I also said that, and this is all using calendar bits and pieces, borders and little thumbnails. It can be magazine images. You can be aware of the spacing between the elements. So this next page is also from a calendar, a wine calendar, but you can see I left giant spaces in between. So connecting these and making it cohesive will be a bit more of a challenge. Here's another one with sort of alternating colors. And this one is just And again, these are all magazine pages, very thin, but I am working in a mixed media sketchbook, so I can't afford to make it very bulky. Anyway, so let's maybe, now this is so very thin, I should use tacky glue and my little spreader. And I'm thinking that I'll just glue these pieces down, and then I'm going to have to call it a day. I'm glad that you guys are here, but as discussed earlier, I got swollen glands, so I'm thinking maybe there's a nap in my future, or some chicken soup or something. Yeah, let's not belabor this. So I'm really starting to love tacky glue, and I'm kind of surprised by that, because I mean it has been around forever. But I guess if something is a good formulation, you don't have to reinvent it. You just keep making it and hope people, discover it. Love the frayed edges there. That's always why tearing is, well, I guess in my opinion, tearing is preferable to cutting, because you've got those organic, that more interesting edge. And, sometimes I say things. I usually try to do a bit of a disclaimer and say, oh, well, in my opinion, or in my experience, or whatever. I hope that no one is taking that as, snobbery or pretending that I'm the ultimate expert, because that's far from the truth. I also like to acknowledge where my biases are. And sometimes, because I don't know, I'm either a glutton for punishment, or I really do try to live my philosophy of lifelong learning. Sometimes I will deliberately do things that I don't like, or don't have, use materials I don't like, processes I'm unfamiliar with, or not good at, simply to build my skill set. I think that having, just getting caught in the rut, and I do consider that a rut, and I'm sticking with that opinion. I do consider it a rut when people have fallen onto, discovered I could even glue this, let this thread stay on here, have fallen into some kind of a formula, winning formula, and never vary from it. Because, like if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And if it's paying the bills and getting the subscribers and putting money in one's pocket, then why? See, I don't like this. Just when I said don't cut. Oh, that's like chewing. Oh, preferable to do. Oh my goodness. Good grief. Preferable to do your tearing before you do your gluing down. I think I better reapply some glue here, because I've dithered so long that it's not going to grab. Yeah, I'm finding that I love tacky glue because it gives some working time. If you use your little, this thing, what is it? Silicone spreader, then chances are you're not going to have it blue. Or if it does, it's going to bleed so evenly that no one will know. Okay, let's see what's happening here. I've been using, I'm so sorry. Cases, yeah, thanks. Yeah, swollen glands, and Christina, who's worked is a chemist and has worked in an immunology lab earlier, did a whole scientific explanation for why that is. Teresa, I've been busy using my tacky glue a lot lately. Glue was the only glue I could find and thought, why not? Angela says, I like your openness. Oh, yeah, well, there's a lot of openness here. Been using tacky glue. Okay, so I don't know why that oh, anyway. Susie says she just got kicked out. How rude, YouTube. She thinks she's talked too much. LOL. No, you haven't talked too much. And yes, YouTube can be rude. But we're not going to say that out loud because they are they are our gateway drug to reaching you. Oh, why am I reaching for that? I'm using tacky glue. So, yeah, I hope that, some of the stuff I've said and some of the options I've shown you and some of the prep pages that I have done have encouraged you to try to give this a chance. I don't know. Teresa, did you ever? Oh, yeah. Look at, honestly, she's psychic. She put the Collage Lab link in the chat. So I was saying earlier that Kelly, who I also interviewed for Heart to Heart, I think that was in November, she has a number of free things that a person could take. I've registered for and paid for a Muse Bouche. That's a 52-week long thing that I'm loving. But she has G is for Grids that is free on her channel. And not so long ago, she did 6 collages in 60 minutes thing. That was on live on a Saturday. And that was fun. I think I need to throw a couple more pieces of this in here. And then I'm going to vamoose. And I've never, oh my goodness. Maybe I'm weaker than I thought. I have never Googled grid collages on YouTube to see what else might be out there, but I just know that this, I'm loving this, even though it has been challenging in some ways. Because, again, circling back, if we're not challenging ourselves, we're not growing. If we keep repeating what we've always done, we're not growing. So that's my philosophy. Actually using this chiffon, I think, is going to work out quite nicely because there's really no thickness to it to speak of. So it's not going to prevent my book from closing. Why don't I throw that away instead of picking it up 16 times and putting it back down? Okay, 2 more pieces. She says, I know, my girl. For those of you who are lucky enough to have Teresa as a subscriber and Susie as a subscriber, just thank your lucky stars, because honestly, these girls are worth their weight in gold. Again, I don't like that pointy thing, so I'm going to attempt to tear it off. I'm thinking this probably tears better in one direction than another. That whole warp weft thing. And I find that, and I don't know whether this is a good thing or not, but I find that I'm gravitating to these spots that have white, even though very clearly I could go back in there and stencil again. But let's just do this. Oh, and part of my strategy was supposed to be help hold that mesh down since I didn't actually glue it yet. I think it's really great too that Aileen's has this, this ability to really do a good job with fabric, and yet somehow they've managed to keep it somewhat affordable. You know, it's not as crazy a price as our glitter glue or Fabri-Tac product, you know, the Beacon product. Now, you know, of course, in any well-rounded craft room, we're going to have, maybe I have enough on here, we're going to have a variety of glues at our disposal. And just like my husband is on an eternal quest to find the perfect cinnamon bun, I think some crafters tend to get something, not a bee in their bonnet, but they get this idea in their heads that they must buy every single option available of something till they find the perfect product. Well, I'm probably too cheap for that kind of thinking. Plus, to me, it seems very wasteful. If I buy something, I'm really highly motivated to use it rather than waste that investment. And that could, and crazy enough, I feel that way whether it was, you know, $1.50 at the dollar store or $300 on something else. So I guess I didn't go high enough with this glue. So I bought, I saw people raving about, I'm going to remember the name. It's right here. Tombow liquid glue. So it definitely has its place. It's got a pen tip. And at the other end, it's got a broad tip. I don't know that I've ever used this side of it. I think I have two of these. I use them occasionally, especially where I want a narrow thing. But I think it's rather expensive for what you're getting. So once it's gone, I'm not going to rush out to buy it again. I guess that's the benefit of experimenting with products. You do find a favorite, but honestly, I don't think there's any need for trying every single thing out there. Okay, it's fun to shop and stuff, but dang, can those supplies stack up quickly. Yeah, and that's what Angela's saying. She's in the use what you already have camp. Kay is agreeing with that. Oh, and Teresa's saying she's seeing people revisiting the idea of using PVA too lately. And that's true. I do have a... I got this little container and I labeled it because goodness knows after a while you can't tell. So that's Elmer's school glue that I bought in bulk a few years ago. Now I didn't say whether I diluted it with water, so it doesn't appear to be flowing. So this would be full strength. However, if I was using this on collage or to hold something down, or collage or hold something, you know what I mean. In some applications, you definitely want to, water it down a bit. And some people go as far as 1-to-1 in the ratio. Yeah, not only do the supplies pile up, but the space, the blood, sweat, and tears that it takes to store. So, number one, store and organize these things. There is a real cost to that too. Now, are you guys loving this hot pink as much as I am? Again, I'll pull that in. I won't glue it down because, we saw that it can... I have nothing going on here. Is this my last piece of this? Oh, and I do have those little bingo markers that I didn't use either. But I think I need to kind of call it a day. So if you haven't already done so, I hope you would give me a thumbs up. And if by some chance you're not a subscriber, please do that as well. Oh, I also have this polka dotted washi tape that could be worked in here as well. Now this sort of began with a bluey teal color and purple grid, but it's kind of evolved, which isn't a bad thing because it just adds more interest and more elements and so on. I could also, before I work on this again, look and see if I have other washies that may work in here as well, because I don't want it to go all teal on me. So anyway, I want to thank you all for being here. Oh, Angela said she likes the hot pink. Teresa likes the hot pink. Helps to pull the lighter pink stencil forward. Of course. Yes, it does. See? She knows. Big thumbs up. Love it. Get that way too. Oh, Julie is still here. Glad you're here. Glad to know I'm not alone in that. And of course, we're all fighting the same. We're fighting the same impulses, and we're fighting the same curses and challenges. So that's why I think these videos that are live, that offer the chat capability. Oh, before we say goodbye, oh, Carol is here. Julie, you do a live. Is it weekly? Is it Wednesdays? Why don't you put that in the chat before we leave? Because I think, I used to be, I kind of always turned my nose up. Actually, since I don't have copyrighted, well, yeah, they've been obscured enough that I probably could. So yeah, Julie, put your live info in the description or in the chat. I used to be kind of a snob about that, and I thought that is so goofy, these live things. But honestly, it is the community and the chat that makes the difference. I was just a slow learner and a slow on the uptake. And of course, the heart-to-heart is even one step beyond that, because it is a two-way conversation, a two-way oral conversation, plus the chat. So it's the best of both worlds. Okay, good. Teresa put the thing in there. And Carol, sorry to say, I'm just about to end this. I'm just beginning my traditional long goodbye. Hopefully you'll check out the replay. It was basically the lesson. Basically, the lesson for me and for you was using grids as a basis for doing collage. So this is what I worked on with the group, other than I had all my little roughly inch squares laid down prior to. I do have others ready to go, because this is a strategy and a skill set I want to explore a little further. So I've got that one ready to go, on that one ready to go. And you don't need to limit it to squares. It doesn't need to be as rigid as this either. A person could do a grid. I wonder what happened to those circles I showed early on. It could be circular. It could be, this will be the parting thing, and then I'm gone. Again, don't mean to, it's not a pity call here, but I do, whoops. Oh, pretend you didn't see that. I did a video on this for Gwen and Tony's paint with paper challenge. So that's coming up any day now. Anyway, I just I showed some of the other things that I have ready to do for more grids if I chose to. So black and white obviously is a great base to use. I have these teensy weensy little digitals. They don't have to be regular in size or shape. So for instance, if I were to use these, I could, and this paper may be too big for what I have here, but I could just choose a layout for my elements. It could be in the center of the page. It could extend very artfully outwards. Now, there might not be quite enough difference in some of these papers. I think this might have been fire. But again, the fact that some of the pages have different values, or I could use the backside if necessary too. It might work in this case. Or I could pick some of my others. I could pick some of my black pieces, or these, which I just love too. These came out of I guess out of National Geographic. Anyway, the point I'm trying to make here is that assuming that the colors were the right ones that you wanted to use and enough value changes, enough value differences, you could do something like that. I mean, obviously with a little more thought. You could do something like that as your grid and then build around it. So it doesn't have to be like rows and columns like I was showing in the ones I've prepared so far. Okay. What is happening here? Too late, can't unsee. Okay, so now what is Julia's saying she's going to tune in, Jonna. Oh, because Jonna does lives as well. I don't think with usually just very spontaneously. Teresa also put in the link for Angela and Carol's live sale today. And of course, Sandy is the moderator there. So that's another way to get a Sandy fix. Okay, so Julie is saying that this week they're making journaling tags with washi tape. Oh, that's good, especially for people who have lots of washi tape. And then, wait, what is Dawn saying? Pop back in. Paint with paper. Yes, I think that is going to, so that's hashtag paint with paper. So it's Gwen the Trash Witch, who I also interviewed and who is just the sweetest person ever. She is doing a collab that started, I guess, January 1st with Tony from Tony's Magical Arts and Crafts. I don't think I've invited Tony yet to be a guest, but I will. And for those of you who love spooky and Halloween, you will love her. Anyway, these girls are doing a thing called paint with paper, hashtag paint with paper. They do it the first of each month. Of course, I didn't know about it soon enough. So my video, I can tell you exactly when my video will be. Paint with paper. I'm doing that on the 19th. So that's next Thursday. That's when my video is scheduled to appear. But because I flipped past it, Eagle Eye Teresa already saw how my project turns out. I did it in real time, and I only did it on half the page just to make it a more manageable project. I also said earlier that I could even see using this stuff, a couple columns of numbers and some story titles from a kid's book. Now, I would obviously make these smaller. They could be torn edges with the white exposed. they could be irregular sizes. So there's one with a fancy little flourish on there. So I think once a person starts thinking about the possibilities, they are truly endless. So I hope that you check out what Kelly is offering on her channel, Collage Lab. And I hope that the examples that I've shown you today and all the options I talked about make you think, oh yeah, I'm going to do that, because it's quite a bit of fun. Okay, let me see. Oh, Carrie has been, so Carrie, were your ears burning at one point or another? I was talking about some possible changes coming to the Heart to Heart, or not changes, but in addition to the Heart to Heart series that would accommodate people like you who have difficulty committing to my day and time. Karamia, so it was actually Karamia's suggestion. She had seen me do a live with Caroline on Caroline's craft tree, and she said that she'd love to do that. And I had done one of those with Wilhelmina, who is also reluctant to, I think, have her facial. Anyway, long story short, I was intending to reach out to you to find out if you'd be willing to do a live craft and chat with me at a point that's mutually convenient. And because I'm always asking questions anyway, it would just end up being your heart to heart. So if that appeals to you, or expect to see that invitation come. And the one that I've already scheduled with Karamia will appear in April, because she knew that she was off that particular day and it was going to work. So, yeah. And Carla Frizzell also reluctant to appear on camera. So again, these sorts of things I think would be the next best thing. And we would finally get to talk to some of the people who have been on my wish list for a long time. Anyway, guys, this went further than longer than I intended it to. And my throat is starting to really kind of bother me. So do you think chicken noodle soup? Oh, you know what? I have one of those noodle bowl things that starving college kids live on. Maybe that'll be a way to get some liquid and some warmth onto my throat there. Anyway, guys, thank you so much. This has been really nice to have you. Oh, here we are. To have you here today. And I think when I asked you earlier, many of you said that, yes, you'd like to have these live mixed media things continue. So, yeah, I want to do this work anyway, and I'd love to have you here in person with me as I'm doing it. So watch for that. Don't forget that the retreat launch live is happening following Carrie's live on February 21st. And yeah, Heart to Heart tomorrow, and so on and so on. Thank you, Teresa, for being my right arm and my mind reader. And thank you for all of those who participated in the chat today. And we shall see you next time. Bye. Oh, I haven't read all these last comments. Okay, so thank you for your, yes, lemon honey tea and a nap. Okay, remember, Kay said it, that I can go take a little snoozeruno. Okay, thanks, guys. Love you all. Bye.